Found it. I didn't keep it, dang it. There we go. It's under here. Right there. Grand Rising, Karen. Hello, beautiful. Grand Rising, angels. Hello, Christy. Hello, beautiful. Grand Rising, Todd. Hello, darling. So I went down a nice rabbit hole yesterday, but I found out what the answer, you know, sometimes when you question yourself and then you ask Spirit to give you clarity, it happens. You get clarity. Grand Rising, Pepsi. Hi, beautiful. And then you have your aha moment, right? Then you have that aha moment, like, oh, okay. Something that you might not have been understanding, because I just went through this. I'm going to explain it to you a little bit. Because it's scary when you question yourself, right? Because then you're like, well, if I'm questioning myself, then I'm giving wrong information, and I don't want to do that. And I tell Spirit that. I say, just let me be the highest that I can be for everyone that comes into my classes, that watches my videos. I only want to be a truth teller, right? I know. Hi, Lynette. Hi, beautiful. Yes, it is for the plan. But I'm going to tell you this little rabbit hole that I went down because I wanted to make sure that I'm not leading anyone down, the wrong way, even though I'm not leading anything. Because you always have a choice whether to believe me or, you always have your own choices. Please make your own choices, right? If you resonate with something I say, beautiful. If you don't, beautiful. Okay? It honestly, in the biggest picture, it doesn't matter. Right? Honestly. Hello, Val. Hello, darling. But we still sometimes doubt ourselves and doubt the decisions we're making. And I do that a lot. Just like anything, I want you guys to make your own decisions, right? Hello, Chris. Hello, darling. Hello, Christina. Hi, beautiful. Ooh, Lynette, sounds exciting. The Egyptian times. Yes, when we go over to TikTok. Oh, so did you? Wow. Well, you know what? Kinda, so did I. Hi, Tammy Lou. Hi, beautiful. Yes, me too. I've had some crazy thoughts, and I went down the little thought process and took it all the way. And Spirit showed me in the end that I am on the right path and I am making the right decision for myself. So it's all good. But, I did doubt myself. As far as the Egyptian goes, I was reading an article the other day about Heliopolis. Now, Heliopolis is a mirror. It is a town in Egypt, but it's also the mirror of the town I live in Florida. Sebring, Florida was named the City of the Sun, which is Heliopolis, the City of the Sun. Yeah. Oh, no worries, Lynette. Everything is in divine timing. In divine timing. I was with you. Oh, awesome. I felt that. I feel that. Yeah. All right. Sky sense. Okay. Well, there's quite a few of you in here. I usually let this go ahead and play, but I'm not going to today. It's almost over anyway. We all know we are sky sent. So, I'm going to get right into this, which, it always starts with Carrie now. Come on. Is that not going to play now? There we go. Yellow. Okay. Turn it down a little. All right. So I'll tell you the rabbit hole that I went down. And then we'll get into our cards. Okay. So I was thinking, right? We see that Trump wears that hat that has 45. Oh, Auschwitz. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, so we see the hat that has 45 to 47, right? We mirrored that. We reversed it, says God, or Allah sees. Allah sees is 45 to 47, Allah sees. Mirrored and reversed. Okay, but it is also 9/11, correct? 9/11. So I was thinking, what's 9/11? Well, we know what 9/11/2001 was, right? So we know about that. Now, did Trump know about that? I don't know, but I do know that that Bush did. I know that Bush did, and I know they were all responsible for it. But that's not what my rabbit hole was about. My rabbit hole was about the numbers 9/11. So, what book are we in the Bible at this time? Revelations. Okay? So if I go to Revelations 9/11, right? It says, and they had as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon. But in Greek, he has the name Apollyon. Okay. If you break, this is crazy, guys. This is really crazy. If you break up the name Abaddon, it says a bad dawn. A bad dawn. Right? Trump's first name is Donald. Abaddon. So I'm thinking to myself, oh, great. So Donald is the angel of the bottomless pit. I'm like, what am I doing voting for the angel of the bottomless pit? Now, I ask Spirit, I say, I need clarity on this because I'm questioning everything right now. Right? I know the great things that he's done as far as rescuing children and going to get all the poisons out of our food. And I'm really excited about that. But then I come across this and I'm like, okay, so, right? Everything's questioned in my mind right now, but let me get back. It's okay. So Spirit this morning has me open this Wisdom of the Rays, right? So I go to Wisdom of the Rays, and the first chapter is about Hatan. Hatan, we found out, was who is Trump now. It's Georgius Cyrus Hatan. That is who also was JFK. I believe this, and I have spiritual proof of this. Okay? I hope I'm not losing you guys. So I start reading this, and it's Georgius Cyrus Hatan, words from the Phoenix Journal. So I get to this page, and it says, one of the nicknames given to Commander Hatan by those who prefer to look at life through rose-colored glasses is the Bad News Professor. And I was just like, ding, ding, ding. That's it. And then Spirit was like, you're okay. You're on the right path. You're not making the wrong choice. This is actually a nickname of his, the Bad News Professor. Why? Because he is bad news to all of the people that are doing nasty things. Right? Yeah, Lizard Girl's got to go. But like I said, I hope you guys followed me on that. Because I went from thinking that he was, and he is actually, because he will cause chaos. The chaos that he is going to cause in this world is unlike we've ever seen before. And we have to get ready for that because he is turning everything upside down. He is going to expose everything. So that is why he is called the bad news professor. Yes, he will. He is going to restore power to the people, but in order to do that, he has to take the power away from the draconians. And he's doing that. He's going to do that. And this is why they are afraid. Right? Yes, Ashley. Okay, so that was a little rabbit hole I went down, and I just had to share it with you because it all made sense in the end. And it just means don't question your intuition. Right? We all do that. We're like, are we making the right choices? And we have to know that, yes, you're making the right choices as long as you're making the choice with your heart. Right? Make the choices with your heart and you will be just fine. And universe says, here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. All right, universe, what messages do you have for us today? What messages do you have for us today? Okay. So, yeah. Universe says, you are my universe. Yes. I need to stop questioning myself. I am making the right decisions. I am making the right decisions. Yep. Okay. Yeah, because it's such an important time right now. I want to make sure that I'm making the right decisions. Such an important time. Oh, see that? Look at that. Look at that. Divine intervention, the 7th chakra. It's a little beat up, this card, but it definitely wanted to come through. It flew out. I didn't look at it, but it makes so much sense. Right? I honor, it got a little eaten. I honor a higher power and know that anything is possible. I let a higher power have a more active presence in my life, and I know that my life is divinely guided. I surrender to this truth. Yes. I know that I am loved, guided, and protected by a higher source. Yes. I am open to seeking guidance in my spiritual quests from a spiritual teacher, master, or guru. Yes. Absolutely. Divine intervention. Always. Anytime you ask, you will get it. You will get it. You will get divine intervention to help you make decisions even. All right. Here's our healing energy oracle. Joy. Joy. Like a child, I discover joy. In the simplicity of life, happiness lies in magical moments, not in the material. Even the smallest joy is a great source of light. Yes. Yes. But do you know that joy can also be turned around? Do you know that? There was a German leader whose symbolism is the swastika that ran on a joy campaign, if you didn't know. Yes. Courage. Courage. I am stronger than fear and bigger than doubt. I am light, and I remain light. I trust in God and stand tall before the tests of life. I grow and become wiser through every challenge. I am a being of new life. Yes, absolutely. And isn't it funny that, Christina, you mentioned Auschwitz, right? Auschwitz, and we get the joy card. And someone else is running on joy, isn't she? It all comes together. It all comes together. Trust. I trust life and my strengths. Each moment guides me to the light. Hello, Cattery. Hi, beautiful angel. Everything on my path is placed there for my growth. Trust. Trust. I got to tell you too, Christina, I was in a play when I was in high school called I Never Saw Another Butterfly. And it was a play about the Holocaust and what they did to those people. Such a sad story. Such a sad story. But I don't want to get into that right now. I don't want to even think about that. That could, possibility. That could have been a possibility before we all stuck together. Before we wanted love and light and peace and hope. Right? Right? That possibility for a timeline is not in our future, but it could possibly be for others. Those without faith and those without the eyes to see. Right? Or are we bringing them all up with us because we are the light? Universe says, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. All right, here's our Work Your Light Rainbow Oracle. Deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held. Don't forget to rest your energy. Go out and ground, hug a tree. You have to rest. You can't be go, go, go all the time. You do need to give yourself rest. All right. And protection. Call back your power. Cut the cords. Retrieve all the pieces of your soul so that you can live as your higher self. Right? I hope you dance. Remember, you are always protected. And this is the Akasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. We are all divinely guided. All of this has been written already. We're just living it out. All of this. It's almost like we're in a book or a movie. Any way you want to say it, right? We're in a book or a movie and it's already been written. We are just the actors playing out the characters in the book. But every decision we make alters our timeline or alters the way the chapters will unfold. Right? Yes. All decisions matter. All choices matter. All right, here's our Starseed Oracle. Earth School. Yeah, Life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. Higher learning. Yep. Star family. Yes. You all are my star family. You're part of a team of souls. Call in support. Yes. Yay, star family. I love that card. And then the cosmic heart. Devotion. Potency. Make your life a moving prayer. Yes. Always look on the bright side of things. Even when things look dark, look on the bright side. How did that happen? What are my cards got? I don't know. You can do anything that you put your mind and heart to. Yes. All right. Our crystal for the day. Moldavite. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You guys know about Moldavite. Moldavite's powerful. I have 2 little pieces of Moldavite on this, and this is the my talisman for connecting to beyond the veil. That's why I'm always connected. Moldavite, unconventionality. Your unique qualities are an important part of your life purpose. It's okay to feel and be different from others. Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Flower power. I love that. You just got a beautiful new Amazonite crystal. Beautiful. Amazing. You found your little bell. I love that. Yes, Moldavite's very powerful. Very, very. If you don't want your life to change, don't get Moldavite, because it'll tear everything away from you and then build you back up, and so many things. Here is the Fairy Oracle. Wisdom. Wisdom. Have you ever been told that you're wise beyond your years? Now is the time to call upon your inner fairy wisdom to help you with a challenge. Talk to yourself. Talk to yourself, talk to your cells, talk to your heart, talk to your lungs. Sing to yourself. Yes. Yep. Here is the animal for the day, and it's the black bear guardian. The guardian, gentle and wise protector. Give me your confidence and power. Help me protect the ones I love. Awaken my intuition and guide me. Yes. Guardian. Yep. All the little cells of my body are happy and healthy. Yes. Absolutely. I sing the cell song to myself at least once a day. At least once a day. Here is the Awakened Dreamer. Awakened Dreamer says, expand your capacity for blessings. It's impossible to count the innumerable blessings that you have in your life, but try anyway. What you appreciate appreciates. This is the secret sauce for magnetizing even more for which to be grateful. Yeah, blessings. I like that. Yes, blessings. And our butterfly for the day. Lots and lots of heart energy in this butterfly. Green heart energy. Says, I make a positive difference in the world, even with my smile and words. Yes. Every time you smile at someone, you raise their frequency as well as raising your own frequency. Anytime you say hello to someone or say a nice word to someone, you're raising your frequency as well as their frequency. All right. And our last card is our Ascended Master. And we'll see if we have any expanded messages. Oh, it's Freya. Look at that. That's the Raven. We got the Raven yesterday. The Raven was yesterday. I almost did my hair in braids today, too. I almost did a double braids today, but I decided to just put it up. There is a beginning within every ending. Illusions are revealed and released. Yes. Sometimes all it takes is smiling at somebody or taking a moment and talking to them for a few minutes. Exactly. I do a little bit, don't I? Blue eyes and blonde hair. Freya. Phases and cycles. All right. Okay, don't need that anymore. We're going to go ahead and get right into the Immortal. Okay. The Immortal is a book about John the Revelator. Yes, Freya approved card of the day. Legend has it that John, the author of the Apocalypse, never died and still walks the earth after 2,000 years. And these pages have the fascinating story of one man's encounter with a virtual immortal. Oh, and there's footprints. It was then that I carried you. It was then that I carried you. Okay. We are on chapter 11. Wow, that's wild. We're on chapter 11. Okay. Here we go. Reunion, this is called. It was a long wait until next Thursday. I had a million questions to ask John. But the most important thing to me was just to see him again. I wanted to share my dream with him, even though I assumed he knew the story. Now, the problem was that I wasn't sure how to contact him. Just before noon on Thursday, I went to Albertsons to see if he was working there again. I was disappointed to find the same substitute there again. I was disappointed to find that same substitute there again. Of course, the substitute did not know anything about when John may come back. I went back home and had lunch with Elizabeth and shared my frustration with her. Are you sure you heard John right, that you would see him in a week? I'm sure, I said, but who knows what all things a 2,000-year-old man must attend to. Maybe he had to go to Bosnia or something. Even so, if he is a man of his word, he should contact you today, shouldn't he? You would think so. Who knows? Maybe I'm not a good student. Maybe I'm not good student material, and he gave up on me. I don't think so, Elizabeth assured me. From that dream you told me about, it sounded like you passed some type of test. Maybe so, I said. I suppose I'd better get back to work. I have to go show a house. So he's a real estate broker for his job, J-O-B. Hi, Sharon. Hi, beautiful. After showing my client the house, I drove back to Albertsons and several other bell ringer locations. I looked everywhere I could think of, just on the off chance that John was somewhere in the area. Finally, when my workday was done, I headed home with the thought that contact was John's responsibility. If it happens, it happens, I thought. Elizabeth and I spent a quiet evening together. Finally, she broke the ice. Have you done any more thinking about the first key? I've done a lot of thinking, but don't think I can go much further until John tells me about the man-God idea. What if he says that we're not gods? You've covered about everything else. What's left? I don't know. Maybe we're just animals, I said sarcastically. You may be just joking, said Elizabeth, but I guess we have to be open to anything. I guess I agreed. We went to bed just before 11, which was quite early for me, and I lay on the bed trying to drift off to sleep, disappointed that I had not seen or heard anything from John. Then, as I drifted off to sleep, I heard bells. Bells. I woke up suddenly. I heard bells, I exclaimed to Elizabeth. She woke up. Bells? It must be John. Yes, it must be John. But now I'm awake, I can't hear them. You always hear them when you're close to sleep. Try going back to sleep. You're right. I'll try that, I said. I tried to go back to sleep, but sleep had fled from me. After a moment, I said I couldn't sleep right now if my life depended on it. Elizabeth sighed. Why don't you just try laying still and tuning in? Maybe John will send you something. I'll try, I said. I laid still and tried to tune into my inner self. At first, nothing happened. Then faintly, I heard the bells again. I somehow knew I was supposed to focus on the sound and did so. As I focused, the sound became clearer, and an image of John formed within my mind. I saw him drinking a cup of coffee at Denny's at the exact same seat where we talked before. Somehow I knew he was there waiting for me. He's at Denny's, I exclaimed as I rose up out of bed and headed for my clothes. Denny's? Elizabeth asked sleepily. Denny's, I said firmly. I'm going there now. I may be a while, so don't worry about me. Elizabeth turned to me and asked, Sweetheart, yes? Tell John thank you for giving me my faith again. Even though I've lost that extra strength, I now have hope I can be healed. I'll tell him, I said. In a few minutes, I was in my car approaching Denny's. I found myself wondering if there was something special about Denny's, or if it was just a convenient place. Oh well, that question was far down the list. As I walked into the restaurant, I noticed the time on the wall clock was about 1 minute to midnight. I hurriedly walked to the corner where we met before, and there he was, drinking coffee, looking exactly like I saw in my mind a few moments before. John, I said, reaching out my hand. I've never been so glad to see anyone before. John smiled as I sat down. Not every beginning student feels that way, he said. Are you sure I am not a prince of evil and deceit, bent on leading you to some eternal hell? You know all about the dream, then. Yes, it was not unexpected. He pulls a similar trick on any student I have that shows promise. He? Who is he? Who do you think? Well, I do know this. Whoever he is was capable of disguising himself as an agent of God. Yet, when I sensed his true nature, it was an evil vibration beyond anything I've imagined. If there is a devil, this has got to be him. John smiled. In the days of Jesus, we didn't use the silly-sounding word devil. We called him the adversary. The word Satan in the Hebrew text means adversary. Today, we would call someone like Hitler, Saddam Hussein, or a terrorist an adversary or enemy. But it would sound silly to call them devils. We didn't use boogeyman-like words, fluffy words, or fairy tale-like words back then. We were dealing with real energies, real beings, and real situations. The religious authorities of that day were the ones who feared illusionary boogeyman. I nodded. I could certainly tell that being was an adversary. I knew he wanted to destroy me when he learned I saw his real self. He still wants to destroy you. You really made him mad when you laughed at him, John laughed. You told me to do it, I exclaimed. I didn't realize I was just making him mad. That's all I need, an enemy of immense power from the underworld. I frowned. John paused a moment and studied my face. As long as you side with light and truth, he will be your mortal enemy with all the force he has available. Then grinning, he said, I figure you might as well get a dig in when you can. That doesn't sound like turning the other cheek, I countered. As Solomon said, there is a time and a place for everything. Through his control of agents here on earth, he has had me killed and tortured about 20 times. The last time I was hung by piano wire, and the first time I was boiled in oil. That alone should be enough to deserve the reward of laughing at his defeat. You'll never realize the joy you gave me when you followed my instructions. I think we really pissed him off, all right, I laughed nervously. That's an unpious term, John scolded, but I couldn't express it better. I took a sip of coffee. It still makes me nervous. He might try to take it out on me. God, as if I didn't have enough problems in my life. From the moment you saw through the illusion and passed the test, you became a mortal enemy. But don't worry. He cannot harm you if you follow the light of truth and the Holy Spirit within you. At present, you are following the highest you know, and you are completely protected. But there are energy points in time and space, like acupuncture points on the body. When one of those points is arrived at, it provides an opportunity for both good and evil. For instance, the other night you had a visit from a strong evil force and also a powerful good force. The fire you felt was what we used to call the baptism of fire. If you go forward, you must risk the chance of going backwards. What would have happened if I had fallen for the illusion? I would have kept my word and saw you today, but because you would not have felt the spiritual fire, you would have rejected me and the knowledge I have for you. Would I have been some servant of evil then? Not in the sense you are thinking, John replied. That would only happen if you have very selfish intent within your heart. What he seeks to do with basically good people is to neutralize them. After they are neutralized, he generally leaves them alone and goes on to other work. Only if a person sinks to great illusion and selfishness can he then be of conscious use to the dark brothers. Who is this adversary and who are the dark brothers? They are just like you and me, John replied. They are brothers of ours, but very wayward brothers. As you know, there must be opposition in all things. If there is an appearance of a positive force, then that appearance can only be held there. Exists the appearance of a negative force. Why do you use the term appearance? Because positive and negative is real to you in this world. But in a higher reality, there is only one energy, and that is God. It is important for teaching's sake that we always deal with the reality we are in. If you try to solve the riddles of a higher reality before you understand your own, you can get caught in an illusion that will cause you to wind up far behind the simple realist. I nodded. I do notice that many intelligent dreamers do not seem to accomplish anything, whereas the dull-witted plotter often achieves a surprising amount. Your statement deserves to be reflected upon, he said evenly. I must have hit upon something important to my progression. So are these dark brothers burning in hell like the preachers tell us? They live in a world with no glory, but the illusion of glory. To understand what that means, you must solve a future key. He shifted in his seat and clasped his hands. Let me put it this way. All of us have a spark of divinity within us. As you follow this spark, your glory, light, truth, and power of love is increased. There are certain very selfish individuals who, through conscious effort, shut themselves completely off from soul contact. After this, they completely deny all things that are good and true. Because they are conscious beings with no true spiritual contact, their consciousness creates a world that is complete illusion with no real light or glory. They believe that the true spiritual plane created by God is illusion, and that they have discovered or created the only true reality. Because this false belief is so real, there is no escape, and all that makes them personalities is in a state of death or disintegration. This drawn-out death often takes many years, but after it happens, the spark that is their true self will continue, and the person will be recreated in a future opportunity on an earth that does not even exist yet. Heavy doctrine, I replied. Does that mean there is no burning in hell? Right? There is in a sense, he replied. When one has rejected light, surrounds himself with illusion, and then comes into contact with real light, it produces a spiritual pain, something like a fire. Why do you think the adversary fled so quickly when the Spirit descended upon you the other night? The light and fire of the Spirit was painful to him beyond anything you can imagine. Even though he wanted more than anything to destroy you, he was forced to instantly leave. It was the most sudden exit I'd ever seen, I nodded. John continued. When people die and go to the next world, they reside with others who have a similar light to their own. Many are disappointed when they realize how little light they have followed on this earth and desire to go higher. This desire takes them near the presence of a greater light, and it is very painful to them. They want to move toward the light, but the approach is painful like a fire, so they are in hell 2 different ways. They have to live with others who are of lesser light and not very pleasant company. And secondly, a desire to escape leads them to a fiery pain. Are they stuck in that situation forever? No. A way is made for their progress, but we could spend days on this subject. Let us move on. John nodded to a waitress passing by for more coffee. I have one more question first, I pursued after she left. Go ahead. Where have you been? I didn't expect you to disappear like you did. John frowned. Actually, I didn't expect it either, but my master needed me. And that would be? Who do you think? Jesus? I asked in wonderment. Jesus is the modern pronunciation of the name he went by 2,000 years ago in Palestine. Of course, the preachers of this age have become attached to it, but those within his inner circle just call him the Christ when making a reference to him. When I get the opportunity to speak to him on a personal level, as I am with you, I just call him Joshua. The original pronunciation of the name Jesus was something like Jesus. But that name is pretty obsolete now. He decided a couple hundred years ago to use Joshua, the English translation of the Hebrew equivalent of Jesus, because it is still a name in common use. Joshua Christ, I smiled. That will take some getting used to. He wouldn't think of using the name Jesus except for purposes of identification. Every time he hears one of the preachers speak or shout the name in that religious twang, he cringes. I always wondered what Jesus thought about how the preachers massacre his name. John reflected a moment. There are many mysteries to be revealed which are associated with Jesus, as you call him, and the Christ. I know him by two of his names, and he has a third which only he knows. And now we know also. We know his third name. What's the other name that you know? I couldn't tell you that without his permission, he replied softly. What's the purpose of having more than one name? I cannot tell you at present. That knowledge is contained in one of the keys you will learn in the future. I can tell you a little about the term the Christ. It is not part of his name, but is the name of an office. The most enlightened teacher associated with mankind on the planet has this office and is called the Christ. Joshua will not always hold this office. In about 1,000 years, he will leave this solar system, and the position of the Christ will be taken over by a close disciple. The title Christ, without the article the, is used by many disciples who share what has been called the Christ consciousness. I am one who is free to use the name of Christ for myself, as long as the one being communicated to does not mistake me for the master teacher. Those who bear the name of Christ are not permitted to knowingly deceive, and the wrong use of the title could produce deception. Self-deception, however, will often occur because of wrong interpretation of doctrine transmitted by the teachers. So why were you called away so suddenly? I probed. There was an emergency. John looked serious. Can you tell me anything about it? Not a lot. I can tell you that a situation developed where some terrorists had an opportunity to obtain nuclear weapons that would have been planted in Washington, D.C. And this event was not in the plan and had to be prevented. And what did you do to prevent it? Even if I could tell you, I do not have time to go into it. Joshua needed my assistance, and fortunately, I was there to help. Yes, Christy. At great sacrifice that I was able to make this appointment with you. There are still some details I have to return to attend to. Is saving the world from nuclear attack something you do often? I quipped. The last time we had a crisis like this was back in the early 80s when scientists were working on the neutron bomb. Its perfection would have been too great a temptation for any nation at this time. And this weapon and several others had to be contained. So do you control men's minds to avoid catastrophes? The disciples of Christ, or the Brotherhood of Light, never force men's minds. We are obligated to honor free will. The Dark Brothers, on the other hand, will use force whenever they feel the need and have the opportunity. They often find that all they have to do is create a little illusion to have their way with the masses. John paused a moment. You've done a good job sidetracking me, but we need to get on with your education. Do you at least remember the question I posed to you last week? I think I got that anyway. It is, who or what am I? I am pleased you remembered the exact wording. Now, can you give me your answer? Well, I said nervously, with a little help from my friends and the Gospel of John, which I assume you wrote, I concluded that men are gods. So are you God with a capital G or God with a small g? I stumbled for a moment. Well, the Mormons say we are becoming a God with a small g, and the New Agers say we are God with a big G. What do you say? Well, I stumbled again, clearing my throat. If I am one with God, then I must be God with a big G. It sounds weird to say that, but that's my answer. Are you confident in that answer? Sort of. What makes you sort of confident? I've had several coincidences pointing me in that direction. I figured they must have happened for a reason. So you had some signs leading you toward the answer, John smiled. I guess you could say that, I replied. Have you read what the master said about signs? I think he said several things, didn't he? John got out his old Bible again and turned to Matthew chapter 16. Read verse 4, he said, pushing the book toward me. I carefully held the old book and read. A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. I just about dropped the book. I remember reading this scripture, but I never thought about it in the context that is now entering my head. I thought the answer may be that I am God because of signs. But Jesus said the wicked seek signs. You were not actively seeking a sign, John assured me, but several appeared to you, and you thought they meant something. So are you telling me they didn't mean anything? I asked, somewhat disappointed. It is true that there is a reason or a cause behind each happening, John replied. But when people see coincidences, they often read much more into them than should be. Suppose you roll dice hundreds of times. Sooner or later, you will roll 7 3 times in a row. Does that have any deep meaning? Or did it happen just because you rolled the dice many times? And the law of averages tells us you will eventually roll 3 7s. So you're saying that coincidences just happen now and then? Generally, that is the case. But then every once in a while, coincidences are contrived by a higher power. But what usually happens when a coincidence happens to a superstitious person? Much more will be read into it than is based on reality. So the fact that both Wayne, Lance, and that dark brother mentioned man and gods was just coincidence and means nothing? Not entirely, John replied. You, Wayne, and Lance have been friends for many years, and as such, tune into each other's frequency and share many of the same thoughts. And this greatly increases the chances that you will all come up with similar conclusions on various ideas. What happened with you three was not nearly as much as a coincidence as you thought. You were looking for an answer, and you were happy that something finally seemed to jump out at you. It was no coincidence, however, that the dark brother jumped on this. It served his purpose. So what about the answer then, I asked. Is it right or wrong? Yes, I see that. Let's regress just a moment, John said, putting his fingers together. Why do you suppose Joshua said a wicked and adulterous generation seeks for a sign? Now, in reality, wicked means misled. So how is one misdirected who seeks for a sign? I've never thought of looking for a sign in a negative light. Most people see signs as a positive thing. John was silent, evidently waiting for a concise answer. I continued. Okay, let me see. If we use a sign to guide our lives, then we are using something outside of ourselves. Perhaps we are supposed to look within. John smiled. There is hope for you yet. I think your light is increasing. Now, what is adulterous about seeking a sign for guidance? That's a tough one. I don't see a lot of relation there. There is a lot of correspondence here, said John. Answer me this. What is adultery? It's where a person betrays his marriage partner and has a sexual relationship with someone else, I replied. And who is your spiritual marriage partner supposed to be? You mean someone other than my physical wife? Yes. Could it be God? You are correct. This is taught throughout the scriptures. The Israelites are called the bride of Jehovah. through the Old Testament, and the church is called the bride of Christ in the New. Both Israel and the church are symbols of those who have the light of the Spirit of God within them. So how does a bride of Christ or God commit adultery? Perhaps by leaving God and leaning on it, or uniting with someone else or another God. Very close, said John. The brother of light senses the Spirit of God within himself and has made a commitment to follow it and be one with it, similar to a marriage relationship. If he actively seeks a sign outside of himself for his main source of guidance, this causes a shift of attention away from the Spirit. So his God becomes a false God outside of himself, and the inner God is ignored and betrayed. He has committed adultery against his only true source of guidance, which places a black wall between his personality self and the God within. Fascinating, I said, feeling like Spock again. So the New Agers, who are always teaching about the God within, yet at the same time are always seeking coincidences and signs, are really teaching one thing and doing another. They are not alone, John smiled. On the other side of the spectrum, the very religious also seek for signs rather than an answer from God through prayer, as they claim to teach. So are we to look within for all answers? Not exactly. That would mean the outside world has no meaning or purpose. The purpose of the outside world is to stimulate with experience, and the purpose of the inner is to verify. Without the outer world, there is nothing to verify. And without the inner, there is no source to find the point of truth that exists in all things. Exactly. It would appear to me then the religious fundamentalists look without for their answers, and the New Agers try to look within, but both are concentrating too much on one side of the pendulum, I said. Another good answer, John said, smiling. Now you're going to want me to tell you if you have the right answer. I've been very curious all week. I leaned forward eagerly. Let's get another cup of coffee, and we'll explore your thoughts. All right. That's the end of chapter 11. Wow. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, we're gonna do chapter in the next chapter tomorrow. But it's like, do we create the coincidences? There are no coincidences, right? But we create the things that we see as coincidences, right? Yeah. It's like we control it all. Just like how I explained to you guys about the rabbit hole that I went down. I created that. And I created the answer because I was looking for the answer. Therefore, it came to me. Question is, was there divine intervention to get me to go to that answer? Right? I don't know. It's something to think about for sure. Yeah. We have 6 minutes till snaps. So, yeah. We are the creators of our reality. Yes, Christy. But do you believe that once we reach a certain consciousness level, that there is divine intervention? Like the divine comes to us easier because we are at a higher consciousness. Yes, our higher selves guide our rabbit holes. Yes, I truly believe that. Yes. Do our higher selves guide our dreams? Our visions? Our journeys? I believe so. Oh, I got to tell you guys about another experience I had yesterday. I went into a room. There wasn't that many people in there, but they were talking about why to vote for Trump and why not to vote for Kamala, why to vote for Kamala and why not. And they were talking about silly things like the price of groceries and stuff. And I was like, none of them were talking about the children. So I was like, I'm going to get up there and I'm going to talk about the children. And do you know, when I mentioned the children, now they were talking about all this stuff that really doesn't matter. I mean, it matters, but not as much as, you know, getting the children out of the situation that they've been in for thousands of years. Right? So they didn't even, do you know, when I mentioned it, they shut me down. They totally shut me down and said, we're not talking about that right now. I was like, okay. So that just goes to show that we don't think like other people. Like, our consciousness is in a different place than other people's. And I couldn't stay in that room. They were just so low vibe. They were so concentrated on other stuff. And the guy that was voting on her side was coming up with these stupid things. Like, the ignorance is real. Right? The ignorance is real. And I'm finding myself that I can't even be around ignorance anymore. Do you guys find that too? Like, we can't have conversations with these people because they're not of our consciousness. They are so 3D that they don't even think the same. Right? Oh, I know, Trina, and I just can't. Money driven and power hungry. Yes. Yeah, I'm starting to get that way, Mark. I'm telling you. I used to have some tolerance, but I'm just getting to where I don't even want to be associated with people that speak stupid. Oh, Victoria. Yes, it was. I went, this guy was for Kamala. And then when we started defending Trump, he's like, oh, look at what they're saying. Yeah, I just, and what I was trying to explain it to them was, it's not even Trump. It's the movement. It is the movement of peace and love and, rescuing the children and cleaning out our food and water and soil and air. and, getting these horrible people out of our government and cleaning everything up and exposing everything. Right? Look what happened with Epstein. It all went, they offed him in jail, or they put him on a different island or something. They hit him or whatever. Do I believe he's dead? I don't even know. But, that's what they showed us, and mainstream media showed us, is that they offed him. And then everything swept under the rug. And we don't even see who was involved. And now they're trying, then they got this Diddy thing going on, and they're trying to sweep that under the rug. Do you believe for 1 second, if she was to get, be the president, that none of that would even, it would all be swept under the rug? Right? Just like Epstein was swept under the rug, that would be swept under the rug.
They take their business very seriously. Sure do. Fred traded up to commercial auto insurance from Geico for serious customized coverage that grows as his business does, all for seriously low rates.
All right, so when's it gonna happen? The big Geico surprise.
I'm sorry?
Some hair metal band. They gotta
I believe it's part of the movie, Christy.
No.
But I believe that we are playing the game.
Get more with Geico Commercial
Yep.
Insurance. Trade up today at geico.com/commercial.
Yeah. Oh, I believe that. Yeah. All right, here we go. Snap, snap, snap. Okay. This is our room. This is the butterflies. All y'all lend your energy to the creation of the new earth. And this is our past loved one, always with us. This is our room. Forest Fairy did this for us. This is the dragon energy, the priest, the pan, the joker, the mother goose, and the angels. The white rabbits, because yes, we go down the rabbit holes, right? And the magic, because we all carry magic inside of us. We can transmute all this stuff, right? This is our room also. All eyes are on us, and we are always protected. This is who we are. We are the rainbow butterflies from the Hopi prophecy, the rainbow warriors. And this is our song of the 144,000. So we thank you, Mother Father, that you have revealed to us your protective universal light, that within this light is complete protection from all destructive forces, that the Holy Spirit of your presence permeates us in this light, and wherever we will the light to descend. We thank you, Mother Father, that you fill us with your protective fires of love, that within this love is complete protection from all destructive thoughts and feelings, that the consciousness of Christ is lifted up in us in this love, and wherever we will the love to be inflamed. Here's a big old hug for everyone empowering yourselves and creating. We thank you, Mother Father, that you are in us and we are in you, that through us your will is sent forth on wings of power, that your purpose is accomplished on earth as it is in heaven, and that through us your light and love and power is manifest to all the sons and daughters of mankind. We are the love, we are the light, we are the truth, we are. And divine love is working through us here and now to create the new earth. Okay, this is our healing chain. All these people have asked us to connect our energy with theirs so that they can heal themselves. So however you do that, light language, Reiki, crystal healing, or prayer, or another modality that you know. I'm going to call in Archangel Raphael, have him connect his energy to all these beautiful people, And we are going to send them love, light, and healing energy now. All right. And so it is. And thank you for that, everyone. I know all of those people feel your healing energy. All right. We are going to get back into I Am God by Aurora Ray. And we're going to talk a little bit about the seat of the soul, the third eye, the pineal gland. And then we're going to go over to TikTok and share. Okay. So it is entirely possible that behind the perception of our senses, worlds are hidden of which we are unaware. And Albert Einstein said that. So the third eye is the sixth chakra located in the center of our forehead. And the third eye is our inner vision, our intuition, and as the seat of our sixth sense, it is responsible for our spirituality and psychic abilities. The seat of our spiritual third eye is located in the center of the cranium and is called the pineal gland, also known as the seat of the soul. There's a book called The Seat of the Soul. I think I have that book. Once we open the third eye, we can travel through different spiritual realms. With a raised level of vibration, we can even use this gateway to travel into other dimensions via astral travel or astral projection through tuning into other frequencies. An opened third eye enables us to have insight into worlds of different dimensions, unseen and beyond human conceptions. Cannabis or marijuana, among other psychedelics, facilitates the activation of the pineal gland and helps turn on the third eye or the mind's eye, directing our spiritual evolution to wholeness. And Rene Descartes said that. There are many ways to raise your vibrational frequency. Meditation is freedom from thought and a movement in the ecstasy of truth. Meditation is explosion of intelligence. And Jiddu Krishnamurti said that. So I want to introduce you to the best methods of raising your vibrational frequency to its absolute fullest potential. While you balance your male and female polarities, open your third eye, awaken your kundalini, and activate your DNA. Sun gazing. We've all talked about that. The sun is pure light information and therefore has been declared as harmful. Medical reports under strict observation by NASA doctors showed that an Indian man survived 411 days without food, only with water and solar energy, which he received through sun gazing. Sun gazing is a method that heals all kinds of psychosomatic, mental, and physical illnesses when practiced regularly. In fact, it increases your psychosomatic, mental, and physical strength and your happiness. One time daily, only during safe hours that are 2 hours after sunrise and 2 hours before sunset, because the UV and IR rays exposure is minimal during this time, you can start to sun gaze for 10 seconds, and for every following day, you can add slowly another 5 to 10 seconds. You have to use your common sense and do what feels right for you, and you should stop adding time whenever you feel like it. It is highly recommended to walk bare feet after sun gazing to be grounded and connected to the earth. Through sun gazing, we stimulate the pineal gland, which is responsible for opening the third eye. And sunbathing is an alternative to sun gazing at a slower pace. So, sun gazing, yes. Also, music. Music and rhythm find their way into the secret places of the soul. Plato. High vibrational harmonic music is the quickest way to change the vibration of the body, and it connects one to the spiritual body instantaneously. Feeling good is critical, and music is the best way to shift in frequency. Dancing and singing go hand in hand with music and are main ways to raise one's vibration for ascension. Everything in the universe vibrates. Every person in the world vibrates. Vibration creates sound. Every person in the world carries a sound within. A very special and unique musical note resides within each of us. All we need to do is bring our hearts together, and we will instantly hear the most beautiful melody, the earth melody. That's by Marco Misinato. Dancing. When we listen to music or move our body freely to the rhythm, we enter a different kind of meditative trance than through meditation. When we dance, we abandon our ego and personal desires, and instead we practice devotion, love, and abundance. Dance is a creating art that releases tensions from the body, which are trapped energies, through free-flowing and self-expressing movement. Spiritualists of many cultures practice different dance rituals to commune with their spirit and to reach a state of ecstatic trance through its liberating feelings of joy. Also laugh, be creative, play like a child, again. And most of all, love yourself with all your heart, mind, and soul. When you do what makes you happy, you are vibrating high. Another one is light language. Light language is high vibrational communication and DNA coding that comes directly from the 5th and 6th dimension and the High Council of the Galactic Federation. Light language can be spoken or written. The spoken version is the same as the tongues mentioned in the Bible. The Pleiadian alphabet is written in light language, and also the Persian alphabet has similarities to it, and it is also the symbols of the archangels. Solomon's lost key lists all of these symbols in great detail. Wow. Light language is direct communication with angelic beings. As we listen to light language, we are being triggered in remembrance our universal origin. I recommend Dr. Judy Satori, The Song of Lyra, which is available on YouTube. The Song of Lyra. I think I've heard that before. I'll have to look that up. Okay, so binaural beats. Binaural beats are a brainwave and entrainment technology designed to put your brain into the same activity state as when you are meditating using traditional methods. Traditional meditation can be very difficult because it's difficult to hold the mind's focus. So many people miss out on its benefits because of their never-ending mind chatter. Brainwave entrainment puts you in the meditative state easily and quickly. It gives anyone a chance to use meditation as a tool for personal growth, relaxation, or spiritual practice. You don't need any special skills or practice to meditate using binaural beats, just a pair of headphones and an MP3 player. Word of caution, do not do too much at one time because the body must get used to the changes that occur in the brain. The two hemispheres that usually never communicate start to operate as one, and this can take some time to get it used to. Medical herb marijuana. So marijuana opens up the pineal gland to the max and slowly shuts off the left hemisphere, male dominant of the brain. When this happens, it's easier to access the energy, feel it, talk to spirit guides, channel, telepathy, special thinking, deep awareness, and philosophical turning points of developing and seeing the universe for what it is, feeling the oneness of all, the connectedness, the love, etc. Marijuana opens up the mind more and more. It gets you to start questioning everything around you, and it makes you more susceptible to the energies around you. It awakens because it makes you vibrate higher. There is also no better medicine for what ails the body than cannabis. It cures cancer, eases anxiety and depression, and aids, balances, relieves any stress at once on every major body system. Most drugs of the pharmaceutical industry are based on the healing benefits of cannabis. I am the slave of that perfect moon. Don't talk to me of suffering I don't want to hear. Talk about light, joy, and sweetness. And if you can't, keep silence. And that was by Rumi. Okay. That was all about raising your frequencies and raising your vibrational frequencies, and a little bit about your pineal gland. Tomorrow we'll talk about DNA, light body, Merkaba, your spiritual body that you travel in, called the Merkaba. All right. Allegedly, of course, it's all alleged, right? It's all alleged. Because honestly, that was just said, but then my middle daughter smokes a lot, and yeah, she still got C. So I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. I think it helps in some circumstances. I think what it does is it makes people eat. So that's a good thing when it comes to C, for people to eat. Because a lot of times when you get it, you don't want to eat. So yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, it does a lot of things for people. For me, I can't do it. It helps you eat, Betty. Good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's some strains for weight loss too. Yeah. It helps eating disorders. It doesn't. It doesn't work for me. You know, it does. It just doesn't. It helps you with everything. Yeah. Yeah, I can't even do it. I can't even do it because it does bad things to me. But that's okay. Because I have nothing against people that do it. It just doesn't work for me. Yep. Right. Yeah, it's not against the law here in Florida. So many people use it. It's ridiculous. I think all my kids use it. My husband used to. I don't. But I stopped in when I was 21 because I had an experience with it, and that just turned me off of it for good. It amplifies sensory perception in physical activity too. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. In Texas, it's illegal. It's legal here in Florida. We have a dispensary like right in town. Yeah. All right, guys, do you want to go to TikTok? And we'll go to TikTok and chit chat. All right, let's go to TikTok and chat. So we'll go in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's crazy, Pepsi. All right, here we go.